Hello creators and designers. Chances are you clicked on this video because you want to make better thumbnails. Luckily for you, this is going to be a free tutorial on how you can take just a few reference photos, a good AI prompt, and a little bit of Photoshop to put together something that looks like this. Now, you may be wondering, how did you get the models to look so accurate to the game? Don't worry, I will explain everything. This process isn't necessarily a secret, but there's a lot of people who would rather keep this information within their own circles. I plan on changing that today. Also, if you didn't come to this video from my Discord, make sure to join down below to download my free Arc Raiders thumbnail pack and to chat it up with other awesome members of my community. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright everybody, as I'm sitting here editing the tutorial, I realized that I recorded over an hour's worth of content and my audio was not working. So we're just gonna quickly go back over everything I explained. Please forgive me if this feels like a speed run. I thought I was done with this already, but gotta do it again. So anyways, this thumbnail would have been the end product of the tutorial I did earlier, but since we're redoing it, we're just gonna say this is what we're gonna end up with. I'm gonna show you guys how to go from an AI prompt, a few reference photos, and just a little bit of Photoshop to get to this. Now, before we start, I do wanna give you guys a little disclaimer. Here in my awesome Discord, I posted this photo last night asking if you guys wanted to learn how to make this style. That is exactly what we're gonna be doing today, but I want to warn you guys. Do not go over to Aimkey's YouTube and copy his thumbnails one for one after watching this video. The method I'm about to show you is going to show you how to replicate them very closely, but I'll say again, I do not want you to go and rip off his work, or more specifically, the work of the guy who makes his thumbnails. As creators and designers, you guys need to take what I'm about to show you and make it into something of your own that works specifically and only for you. Okay, mini lecture out of the way, we're gonna get back to it. So how do I go from a blank canvas to this? You're gonna go ahead and go over to whatever AI program you like the most. The one I'm using specifically is ChatGPT 5.2. So if you're using something different, you might get different results. The primary reason you are probably not getting any luck when you're trying to do this yourself is because you don't have a good enough prompt. Or maybe your reference photos just suck. Or maybe you aren't using any reference photos. I don't know. But I've done this a couple times now and it's worked pretty good for the most part. The prompt we're gonna be using is split up into two parts. Part one is going to focus on the character model, the pose they're in, and the background. And then part two, we do later, is going to focus on the gun model. The reason we're splitting this up into two parts is because of the way the AI processes information. It's really complicated, just trust me. Down below, you're going to find a text file with both parts of the prompt. All you have to do is copy in the first part, which you'll see here, copy in a reference photo of your skin you want to use, a character pose you want it to follow, which I'll explain how I got this in a second, and then any image of a background you want to use. This does not have to be from Arc Raiders. This can be from a different game or it can be a real life photo, doesn't matter. To get the pose, I use the website posemy.art. This is a really cool website and it's used by artists whenever they want to reference a specific pose in their drawings. Ironically, we're gonna use this for generative AI, don't shoot me. But anyways, you go to search poses, you can just search through a bunch. In my search box here, I have gun, holding pistol. Pretty common thumbnail poses. But once you have it, you just click, copy, image, paste. That simple. The exact one I used was this one here. And after I gave it the three references, I let it cook and this is what it came up with. Now off the bat, you're gonna notice a few things. First thing you're gonna notice is that the gun is obviously a placeholder. If you look at the prompt, we actually told it to do this. This is what it's supposed to do. Secondly, is that the pose is not 100% accurate to the reference that I gave it here. That's because in the prompt and when I was creating this process, I had it prioritize a natural look rather than a specific set pose. So for the most part, the poses you give it will work. You might have to fine tune things a little bit and I'll show you guys how to do that later. All right, so for the second part of the prompt, we're gonna give it a reference image to use as a weapon. Now, the really cool thing is that if you guys are in my Discord and you've downloaded the Arc pack, all of you guys will already have access to a PNG of every gun in the game. If you don't have the Arc pack, first go in my Discord and start downloading it, it's free, and then while it's downloading, go on the internet and find the reference you want to use. Just like part one, we're going to paste in part two of the prompt, and we're just going to copy and paste our reference. Now, here's what it gave us, and I'm going to show you a comparison between the two images. I want you guys to take note of something. There is obviously a difference in the skins here. Something you need to wrap your head around when you're working with generative AI is that it is never going to be perfect. It is going to mess up a lot. It's up to you to work with it and tell it how to fix those mistakes. So next, that's exactly what I did. When you're using this method, you might have to be patient and it's gonna take some trial and error when you're first getting started. Here, I gave it specific instructions to alter only the character uniform, and here's what we came up with. As you can see, it's very close to the reference, and honestly, the only thing that I'm noticing here is that the visor has a little bit of a different shape. Like I said before, this does not have to be one-to-one perfect. It never will be. You're always gonna find some minute detail that's a little bit off. What's actually important though is that can I, as a viewer and as someone who's browsing YouTube, can I discern what's happening in the thumbnail? And can I easily see what skin it is and what the character is doing? This is how you get ideas across quickly and effectively, which is the whole point of a thumbnail. Now I'm gonna take you guys into Photoshop and show you how I go from this to this. Now, I had originally planned on doing this step by step with you guys, mainly for those of you who are brand new to Photoshop, but all we're essentially doing here is masking out the subject so we can fit the subway lines behind them. So you would just go to your layer, select and mask, and key out the subject. Once you have the subject here, you're gonna keep them in the same spot, and you can throw your overlays or assets or whatever you wanna use. I'm using this. I'll even throw this in the Discord for those that want it. I also added a very subtle outer glow to the subject here. And then I added an exposure adjustment layer, which kind of just helps you manipulate the light better. And then finally, I took it into Camera Raw and I did some finishing touches, and that's really it, guys. Like 80% of the process is done using the AI. It's super simple. Really, the hardest part is figuring out how to fine tune it to do the things you want. And that's just something you'll learn how to do over time. So yeah, I'm sorry again, guys, if this felt like a speed run, but I had just spent an hour recording everything. If for some reason I missed anything or you have any questions, comments, and concerns, please feel free to reach out to me in my Discord. I'm gonna leave everything you need attached to this video. Remember, do not rip off anyone's thumbnail one for one. And yeah, have fun, guys. Take it easy.